Welcome back to the Iranian Viva channel. Today's video is a Mission 1 guide for the Pitt expedition. I'll be covering where the spawn locations are for Steel Ingots and Union supply crates, which you need to find to complete 2 of the 3 additional objectives. I will also be showing where the Fanatic battle plan locked safes can spawn. Let's get started. Today's video is my 3rd Pitt guide, with the first explaining how to start the Pitt questline and the second covering the format of both missions. This video will focus on only spawn locations for Mission 1, so if you wish to learn more about expeditions in general, I recommend checking those videos out first. Special thanks to Cat Duchess Flame, who I worked with on this video. If you want more comprehensive guides for both missions, then check out the links to her web articles in the video description. Thanks as well to Sugar Bombs Rads for helping me source extra visuals. First up today, let's go through where you can find steel ingots in the industrial district. Steel ingots are an optional objective during expeditions. Wicker at the pen will give you these additional challenges for Mission 1.
Grab me some steel ingots from around the foundry if you can, and pick up any stolen supplies you may run across inside.
Completing these objectives will reward you with extra stamps and rewards. While both the team leader and teammates can collect the steel ingots, only the team leader can hand the ingots back to Wicker. The ingots will spawn the moment an expo is created, which means that you can collect them as soon as you run towards the first objective. If you choose to speak to Wicker first, then you'll actually get an objective marker when you're close to an ingot, and the objective details will pop up so you can keep track of how many you found. There are a total of 30 possible spawn locations for the steel ingots, 15 outside and 15 inside the foundry. 5 will spawn outside and 5 will actually spawn inside during an active expedition. What this means though is, unlike prisoner collars in the second mission, you can actually find all 5 ingots you need outside without going into the foundry to look for them. So here's my route showing all 15 exterior locations. Okay, so begin your run by the vertibird. I've spliced together footage of an ingot at each possible location so it's easy to see exactly where they are. Run down to the ruined house below the billboard. A small metal table is where the ingot can spawn here. Get up from here and move through this alley into the building. Watch out for the radroach, but at the end of the counter is where your number 2 location is. Now you've finished here, exit the doorway of the diner closest to the booth seats and look west. You'll be facing a building. This is actually where Hex can sometimes spawn for part 1 of the mission, but the ingot you need is actually just on the wooden crate next to her. From the wooden crate, face south and walk forward until you get to the main road. Turn west and walk towards the tram on fire. The next steel ingot is in the first car on your right. The tram is actually the number 5 location, so head inside to check at the back. Once you're done, run out of the tram and down the road past the trailer to a second tram that's actually directly ahead of you. Jump on this and turn around. Standing on top of the tram, face back the way you came. There are actually 3 ingot locations directly ahead of you. For the first one, jump down and climb on top of the truck before jumping onto this scaffolding. You can find it just here. Next, we're heading into the pit stop building. Jump down from here and run to either door. I prefer this one as the ingot spawns directly ahead of you. Turn around and exit the building, and then head right. A third tram is buried under some rubble. Jump on this and jump again onto the metal railing. At the end of this railing is where you can find the ingots. Run up the road now and turn right again. A red truck is directly ahead of you, so head inside the trailer to the end where the ingot can spawn for number 9. Head out of the truck and into the next area. This is full of enemies, but I cleared them out for the guide. When you arrive at the bottom of the crane, stop, as you need to jump atop the shipping containers ahead of you. The orange container has the ingots at the edge. Once you've collected these, keep travelling along the containers until you reach the one with the open section. Look across to another container opposite. Jump across and into this one, where you'll find number 11. While inside the green shipping container, turn around and face south. Jump down and hug the right wall straight forward until you arrive at a section of brick that's on the ground. This is where the ingots can spawn here. Keep hugging the right wall and head into the double door opening. Run through the next rooms and through into the train yard. Ahead of you is another trailer. Head up the ramp and inside. In the cabinet at the back here is where the ingots can spawn. From the metal cabinet, turn around and head outside and down some stairs. We need to reach the large warehouse where the Repel Enemies Part 1 can take place. Head across the yard and jump onto the top of the roof section that's here. This is where the ingots can spawn on the edge. Now for the final location, jump down and head past the overturned carriages. Stop when you reach the wall at the other side and turn left. Ahead of you is a ramp. Run to it and head up and then stay straight to enter the building. Turn the corner and the ingots spawn at the end. So, if you've checked all these locations before heading into the foundry, you should definitely have the 5 ingots you need. You can hand these into Wicker now or wait until you finish the mission. Union supply crates are up next. Wicker will ask you to retrieve Union supplies. There are 6 possible spawn locations within the foundry, with only 1 crate spawning per expedition. Although there's no direct map marker until you are close, they do have a loud beep that really helps locate them. For those of you who played Nuclear Winter, it's actually the same noise that indicated a large crate was nearby. In the chem lab, the crate will spawn upstairs, in the blue metal building as soon as you enter from the tunnel, like this. This one is probably the easiest as the distance is close enough for the marker to immediately display. Head up to the building and then you are done. Next, for the canal, start from this location with the gruesome foundry. Go right and look behind the vat with the fire vents. I found this one is pretty easy as well as you can hear it from pretty far off. For the twin cauldrons, if you start here by the signs, the building you need to get to is actually opposite you on the other side, in line with the vats. Run along the scaffolding like this and head up. The chest is directly opposite you when you enter. In the warehouse, the chest can be found in one of the shipping containers. Here's another angle if you're unsure. Next up, the fire pit. Start directly in the middle of the room. Each side has 3 pipes. The sound of the beeping will honestly do the work here, but head to this side and behind the pipes you can find the supplies on the ground. Finally, for the belts, head past the central conveyor belt and stop at the top. Turn around to look at a blue metal building behind you. Head inside and look right. The supplies will spawn in this corner. Hex will send you to the foundry to recover Fnatic battle plans from locked safes during a possible part 2 of this mission. There are 10 possible spawn locations with only 3 spawning every expedition. These are much easier to find than everything else as they do have area search markers that will display one at a time. I'm going to show how these work now with 3 examples. In this run, my first location was one of the possible 3 that can appear in the warehouse. Arriving at the location, the safe was just inside this small container. Next up was the twin cauldrons. This was on the ground floor at the back of an office building. Finally, in the tunnel where you first spawn, heading upstairs into the office building is where you can actually find the only possible spawn for this area. That wraps up the Mission 1 spawn locations guide. This was a condensed version of Kat's web article guide, so I really recommend checking those out for all the details. Next up, we have our first lore video dropping tomorrow. I spent a long time looking around the pit and there are some really interesting lore discoveries that I can't wait to share. So look out for that one. As always, we have our weekly camp builds and tutorials so subscribing and turning on the bell icon is the best way to stay up to date and ensure you don't miss a video. If you enjoyed this particular video though, why not drop a like on it as well? With that said, I am off. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next one.